Hello and welcome to Stir Crazy Art Class with Gerald Savine, lesson number 56. We can now continue with the painting of the Klein Ecstasy windmill. What I'm going to do now is, I'm not going to concentrate on this area here, the building. I'm going to leave that for now. I want to work on this area here, which is the marshland, the bund and the greenery. So what I've done, I've got some green already out and some lemon yellow as well. And there's one or two other colours. There's yellow ochre, a little bit of burnt sienna, and I've also got this other colour, Payne's grey. You can again go back into mixing the ultramarine blue and burnt umber to give you a fairly black colour. If you thin that down, that can become fairly grey, but I'd like to introduce this colour to you. So I'm going to start off with, we're going to look at doing this area here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of the sap green, bring a bit of the lemon yellow into it because we want it to be sort of quite light to start off with. So just a little bit more water. We want to be a bit light. We're we're looking into the distance, so we're going to be fairly light to start off with the colour. And the lemon yellow gives that extra bit to that. So again here, I'm going to dab on some of the colour. A bit more water for this. We're not going to be too fussy, too sort of detailed, if I want a better way of putting it. We're going to add a little bit more colour lower down to give a bit more, so it's in the sort of shadows. Here, if you remember, we again, I just imagine there's a few to the tree bits along in front of the bund and coming up to the buildings. Again, carefully, where you've actually come up against the wall and the buildings, be careful about your painting. Make sure that you take the colour right up to your pencil lines, but then just dab it so that it has, again, the feeling of natural, of nature. Now what I'll do here quickly, I'm going to pick up a slightly smaller brush and I'm going to pick up some of the straight sap green, and then what's going to happen, because the green is already damp, if I sort of dab it on a little bit, it just sort of blends in a little bit more, it gives a little bit of character to the greenery that's there. And again, this is in a way, I think, the secret of working with greenery, particularly when it's in distance, by not being too detailed with it. But again, by just dabbing with the brush, just gives that sort of natural feeling to it. Now then, in front of that, we have this area which is quite light. It was, again, a sort of time of year when things were... Oh, sorry, I'm going to move this around just a little bit. And I'm going to bung some colour in here. You can imagine this is dried, the dried grasses and things that are on there. And again here, I'm just working just very lightly. Now again here, because we do it lightly, we can then add in more colour when we want to. And then obviously the day we were there, it was quite a nice bright day in the summertime. Had to be in the summertime because we tend to go camping at that end of the world. And again, I'm going to bring some of it in here as well, because this is sort of grasses that you would see, sort of reedies really, I suppose, you get with when you're near the sea and marshland. So again here, I'm just dabbing this on here, and I'm just going to bring a little bit of the burnt sienna into this as well. So when I come along here, a bit nearer, a bit more colour into it. Again, it just gives a little bit of interest into an area which is perhaps not as interesting as you might think, but on the other hand, we've got a lot going on there. Now what I'm going to do now again is I'm going to bring some of this green in. You can see here we've got some of the greenery here. Again, it's quite casual. Perhaps we do a little bit more like that with the brush strokes. That gives you again the impression of being reeds rather than just grass. There's various strengths going on here. Just dabbing it through a little bit. And then we can come down here. Now minding here, because we want to keep this area a bit clear, because we're going to be doing something a bit more interesting there. Again here, we're going to have this coming up here. Just working the colour in. Now we'll be overlaying the colours. So work as quickly as we can on this. What I'd like to do, if I get a feeling for what's going on, hopefully, and then you might be able to carry on doing this yourselves. And then I'm going to gradually come down here. I'm going to bring in the sap green, what's again straight from the tube, as it were, to give again that just can you see how it gets sort of different layers of colour? I'll just put a little bit of that in there as well. So as we come up here, we've got little variations of the greenery, just a bit more darker here perhaps. And again, that sort of gives a pattern, a shaping to the greenery in the foreground. Now then, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in a little bit. Oh, crumbs! It shows you there. Look how it happens. That's Payne's grey. It's very strong colour. You need to be very careful with it. Now here, I normally say bring this darker colour into the lighter one. Here I'm just adding the green, in fact the other way around. But again here, we've got this, when you see the original good painting, just gives a bit of interest, stops the grasses being boring. Now again, I'm having to work quite quickly here, because there's not a lot of time, and I'm hoping you can get the general gist of what's going on. But you see, as it comes down into the shadows, we go darker and darker, and when it gets down towards the river, it's down here, you know, we've gone really quite dark, because it's in the sort of shadows here. And again, we can do where the land and the water come together. And in fact, I want even more. It's unusual, isn't it? But the thing about Payne's grey is it mixes well with other colours and just makes them a bit darker without spoiling them. It just gives a bit of additional work. Let's get a bit more green into this now. I'm working my way around the water's edge, around to the boat. Now again, here we have to be careful around the drawing of the boat. We don't want to land up with this darker colour on where we're going to have some lighter colours of the boat. But can you just begin to see how I'm going to go with a mix here, somewhere in between, to fill in some of the colouring here. I'm going to go with some lighter colouring through here. So as though you've got different layers of the reeds, the grasses, and then it's sort of the way they're sort of grouped together, going up here. It's not quite the same as the original, but that doesn't matter. Again, because we can go with a lighter colour, we can always paint over this with a slightly darker colour. But hopefully you just begin to see how it all comes together. I'm going to bit of straight out the tube colouring again here, just to, can you see how it just divides up the layers of the grasses. And what can also, of course, is just take the sap green as it is and just thin it down, so there's not so much water, so there's not so much pigment in it, and that itself will give a lighter colouring, as well as putting the lemon yellow in. And here I'm just going to try and get rid of some of this colour. strength of colour in here. And I'm going to just squidge some of this along here for the moment, because we can then build up and we can give some character to the painting, to the grasses. It's just beginning to come on now, just beginning to take a bit of detailing going on. And then I'm going to take it again here while it's still damp. I'm going to put some straight sap green in. Again, working the colours that way because it's sort of the reedy type grasses we've got here. Again, coming up near the building. Have to watch the time now because we've. It's amazing how quickly the time goes. I'm going to put a bit of Payne's grey in with the green here, and could be perhaps not quite so wet as I got it now, but never mind. Carefully around the shape of the boat and pulling the colour up, dabbing it on, and again here we're coming up against what will be lighter grasses. I'm going to now very, very quickly mix some solid sap green with the Payne's grey. We could do with it being a bit drier actually, I think, but never mind. So let's try and give that. Just squidging the colour up and down to get this feeling of the grasses going on. Alright, so another minute or two and we're going to have to stop this section and have a break, and then go back to look at the what I'm also going to do is just I'm just going to do some of this greenery around here. I'm going to jump over to here for the moment. We'll get into this, get this lighter colouring going in here. I'm actually going to bring in a bit of the cerulean blue into the green as well, just to give a difference. I'm going to put that in with a bit cerulean blue in with the green, just give a slightly different green feel to it. And again here. Just sort of work the colour up and down. Just putting more pigment in can make a difference. Again, careful along here. But what I'll do is I'll be careful not to go right up here because I want to put some lighter colour so the light's catching the grasses up here, so I'm going to pick that in, thin it down a bit, bring a bit of the lemon yellow in with this as well, and thin this down now. Now we're just going to, I'll do this little bit here, and then it's amazing how quickly time goes. I'm afraid that we're going to have to call it a session now, this one, just to hopefully you just get the idea of what's going on, and then you'll be able to bring a little bit of the Payne's grey in again. It's you think grey, you think, oh dear, what are we going to do? But in fact, you can see it hasn't spoilt the green at all. Still, it just makes it a darker green. And I think there we're going to have to call it a session now, and we'll see you again. Okay, so I'll just say goodbye for now and see you.